Morning, everybody. It's me again. We are Fort Worth is the address. I think we're kind of in between Fort Worth and Dallas, right off I-30 here. Gonna pour us a little house slab. Actually, real little. Just pulled in. I'm setting up on the lot beside it. I don't know if that's allowable or not, but easier to get forgiveness than it is permission. I don't know why I couldn't. I think the same builder owns this whole little lot. We're going to do a little video today on the new Conforms air cuff. I've used it a couple of times here. I guess I can get. I've used it, done a couple of jobs with it, and all I can say is I love it. It's great. Takes a little bit of getting used to, not anything too bad at all. It's just a little bit different. Yeah, it's a little bit different, not anything drastic. And one thing that I was concerned about when we were setting it all up, and then, you know, of course, Jeff and Mike come down or whatever from Conforms to get it all connected and hooked up or whatever, I was worried because it's got a, and I'll show you in a little bit, it's got a function that ties into the start and stop switch on the pump. And what I was concerned about was that it was going to be, you know, on all the time or whatever, and sometimes I don't want to use it. But I'll tell you, it ties in to it, and it's also tied into a switch on the pump for the air cuff, or on the remote for the air cuff, and it's perfect the way it's set up. If I turn it on, it starts and stops with the pump. Has a little bit of a delay, which I'll show you in a minute. It has a little bit of a delay so that if you start the pump and it's constricted on the hose, when you hit the start button on the pump, it has a delay before it starts pumping to let the airbag deflate. And really it's only about maybe 2 seconds difference from what it was, you know, if you don't have it on. If you don't have it on, you're not using it, and you pump and you stop pumping, you know, all the concrete falls out of the, you know, from the A-frame, from the top of the boom out. And then when you start pumping it, you know, there's a little delay before you get concrete out of it anyway. This, if you have it constricted, which you'll still have, you know, a full boom of concrete, whenever you hit the start button or whatever, it delays starting for just a second until that air cuff deflates and opens up. And it's really, time-wise, it's almost no difference at all. It really works out good. almost no difference in the time with the delay on or with it off. Now if you don't have it turned on the remote and you're pumping along and you stop, it doesn't do anything. It'll let the concrete fall if that's what, in some cases that's what you want it to do. But if you're pumping along and you say you inadvertently hit the switch to turn it on, it won't come on. So you can't, basically it's a fail-proof system. You can't accidentally turn it on while you're pumping, while there's concrete flowing. Really, it's, I mean, I've never had one before. I don't know how any of them work or whatever, but this, to me, it's a perfect design for what I want, for how I want it. The couple of jobs that I did, I've played with it a little bit or whatever, but haven't really used it, haven't really needed it. I mean, I did a shop slab or whatever yesterday, metal building slab, and it was just, there was no porches, no nothing, no moving around. We started on one corner, it was just like paving. So I didn't really need it per se, couldn't really use it for much of anything, because frankly I'd set up, primed out, and pumped 198 yards non-stop. Never stopped once. They thankfully had the concrete on me and did real well, because I had a second job that I was in a rush to get to, and it worked out good. Okay, so one thing that I did want to talk about in this is that you kind of have to watch it setting the boom down or picking it up. You've got straps and the air hose and everything coming off of it, and it will, it'll slide back and forth, and we may need to do some adjustment on that, the length of the straps and hose or whatever. I found, like when you set it down, to fold it up and all that, it normally rides right there, just this side of where that rest is, and then there's the, whatever you call it, the cradle for the tip hose right there too. But as I fold up or whatever, the couple of times I've used it, it's slid back or whatever, and it's fine. But you want to watch it and make sure you don't get it in there and pinch it or anything. And also picking it up, you don't want to catch the straps or the hose or anything on something and tear it all up. Anyway, that's just one thing I wanted to talk about. give you a little tutorial on how it all works. Alright, real quick, on the remote, which is filthy, the switch right there for the air cuff. That turns it on, that turns it off. There, you can hear it. Long story short, the functionality of it is, I'll get up here where you can see it close. It's off right now. Whenever I flip it on, it inflates and squeezes the hose shut. Alright? And then when I turn it off, it bleeds the air out. And that's, I mean, that's how long it takes or whatever. Long story short, it's, y'all have seen, we did other videos on the installation or whatever. It's air line coming off the, you know, one of that auxiliary tanks. There's a shut off valve, goes into a pressure regulator. Had to think of the word. Pressure regulator, where you can set it to a certain certain pressure. You know, different size hoses, different you know, a steel hose versus a nylon, you know, that kind of thing or whatever. You may want more or less pressure on it. We've got it set right about 60, which seems to be working pretty well. Again, I haven't messed with that, so I don't know, you know, if a little bit higher or a little bit lower would work better for it. I don't know. It works pretty good as it is. And then from there it goes into, there's the switch, you know, the electronic switch, you know, which is activated by the switch on the remote. And it ties into the board on, however, there's relays and everything else that ties into the board on the control for starting and stopping the pump. But anyway, that's it in a nutshell. You know, you're pumping along with it turned on. You know, it's, as you're, you know, if the pump is on, it's released and it's letting concrete flow. And whenever you turn the pump off, it immediately starts squeezing down. It takes, you know, a couple of seconds for it to shut the concrete flow off, but you know, way better than sitting there just drip, you know, flowing out from, you know, all the way up there or whatever, and getting a whole bunch, you know, more than you need in a spot or whatever. You know. 1 hour later. Little unconventional. We're going to start on one end, go to the other. Save the garage for last. It's already hot. It's after 10 o'clock already. It's supposed to be 95 degrees today, so we'll get after it. getting hot. Having a little trouble figuring out what a 7 slump is. But yeah, you can see my cup is inflated now. It's holding back a bunch of concrete. Watch here. Turn it off. As you can see, we're all done here. I went and washed out. It's getting hot, man. Took me a little bit. I had to work on that hopper and get it cleaned out. But they're polishing it up here. I'm waiting on the most important thing. You guys get here with the money. But once again, Mike with Conforms, I really appreciate it. This thing is like a dream, dude. It works great. Very easy to operate, very easy to install. Very handy piece of equipment. Every pump ought to come with one. Again, it's Conforms. See my shirt or not? They gave me a shirt, so. Conforms. Look them up online. Or give us a holler, ask in the comments, we'll get you connected to them. Somewhat of a sidewalk there for them. But anyway, we're done for today here. I'm about to head for the hills. As always, like, subscribe, share, comment on the videos. Tell us what you think about that air cuff. See you next time.